Good morning. I'm honored to stand before all of you today to speak on behalf of my classmates on this momentous occasion. And this occasion truly is momentous. Some of you may think this is because we're getting our diplomas, moving on to adulthood, and have gotten into some wonderful colleges. No. The true magic of this moment is because of two things. The first is that we can finally call our teachers by their first names. So shout out to Joe, and to Marion, and you too, Rod. The second thing that makes this moment momentous is that we can finally be friends with our teachers on Facebook, which a lot of us have been looking forward to for a very long time, but honestly seemed a bit more attractive in the 7th grade. You don't want to see those pictures. Anyhow, Coach Courtney, you can accept my friend request now. Please. Now, this past year, I've had the privilege of being student body president, and just a few weeks ago, I had the chance to give my final address to my classmates. In that speech, I stressed that as president, I'd been thrust into an important position with absolutely no more knowledge, in fact, probably far less than any of my classmates. All I could do was thank them for giving me the chance to do my best. Well, today I feel the same way. I have a job to do for which I feel particularly unqualified. I'm charged with imparting some words of wisdom, telling a few jokes, and sending us all in what I imagine to be the beautiful sunshine with a sense of fulfillment and hope. It's a big job. And honestly, look at me. I don't know what you guys are thinking. That wasn't the joke. Okay. I'm an 18-year-old guy, and if you could read my mind, you'd find that what I'm really thinking about is, well, I'm an 18-year-old guy, so maybe I shouldn't be sharing that with you right now. Anyways, I was still very nervous preparing for this. I tried every trick in the book to try to relax myself, but none of them have worked. And right now, in the last-ditch effort, I'm even trying the oldest trick in the book, to imagine everybody in their underwear. Oof. Mr. Algren, please. That's just making me super uncomfortable. But the funny thing is, there's no reason why I should be nervous. After all, this isn't my first commencement speech. When we graduated from the 5th grade, I was the promotion speaker who gave that speech exactly 7 years ago today, on June 5th, 2009. There were 22 of us in this class who were present during that speech, so some of you in the audience may remember me as well. You might even remember the short, pudgy, nervous kid who gave the speech that day. Well, not much has changed. Here I am again, just a bit taller. Anyhow, I'm going to borrow from that speech, because if there's one thing I've mastered from all those college applications, it's how to cut and paste and still make things seem authentic. But really, the reason I'm borrowing from it is because a lot of it still applies. In my 5th grade speech, I spoke about one of the lessons we did in the 1st grade year, where we learned about homes. The lesson culminated with a group of us building a replica of a house and talking about what it would be like to live in it. But the real point of that lesson was to get all of us to understand what it feels like to be part of something bigger than ourselves, to understand the meaning of having a home and belonging to a community. In my 5th grade speech, this translated into how, at Dwight, we'd found a place where we were able to, quote, learn together, play together, and most importantly, grow together. Now, as a graduating senior, I might have a vocabulary that's a bit more expansive, and perhaps an outlook that's a bit older, but to be honest, I don't think I can say it any better. The magic of this place is that it really has become our home. And that means that on a day like today, when we're effectively leaving our homes and the people we've shared it with, it brings up a whole array of emotions. First and foremost, it's evident that we have positive emotions. We're happy to have enjoyed the past carefree weeks with our friends. We're proud of our accomplishments and excited for our future. Those feelings are absolutely justified. I mean, we've put a lot of effort over the last 4 years, which is a significant part of our lives thus far, into being able to get up onto the stage and say that we've earned the right to be here. And we've had our struggles along the way. Even I, myself, and many of my classmates have doubted our ability to reach this finish line. And those difficulties might be hard to imagine on a day like today, when we're seated in front of you looking so studious in our caps and gowns, ready to receive our diplomas. But perhaps I can describe to you what this class looked like in the weeks leading up to today. Some of you already know. Close your eyes and let me take you on a journey. First stop, Hajar Auditorium during AP week, where the majority of our grade was taking one of the last exams of our high school careers. To say that my classmates and I were bored and disinterested would be a severe understatement. In fact, I haven't seen that many people so bored since Mr. Albrecht's last announcement at morning meeting. Is he laughing? He's laughing. The next stop on our journey is the AP Latin exam, where with a few minutes left, I literally fell out of my chair and curled into the fetal position on the floor. I looked my proctor in the eye, he looked back at me, and there was a mutual understanding that I had nothing left. The third stop on our journey would have been the AP Psych exam, but in not my finest moment, I slept right through it. So after all that, we should absolutely be happy on this occasion because we've earned it. But there are other emotions at play as well. Underneath all those positive emotions, I felt something else, and I know my classmates have felt it too. The feeling is just a bit of melancholy, a bit of unease about having to leave this place. And the reason we feel this way is that lesson of the long ago first grade class. We have a community here where we learned together, played together, and most importantly, grew together. Dwight-Englewood has become our home, and we're a bit sad or uneasy about leaving this place, just as we will be sad and uneasy to leave our family homes in a few short months. But even with that twinge of sadness, we know it's time to go. And we're ready. Because our Dwight home, just like our family home, has prepared us for this moment. Not just by making sure we knew all the subjects on the SAT, or by providing all the extracurricular activities to list on our college applications, but by giving us the opportunity to grow into adults. We've all built great resumes, but our Dwight community has always emphasized building our character as well. And my classmates are great examples of this. One of my classmates saw poverty in Patterson and created a not-for-profit. Another of our classmates was worried about nuclear proliferation and created a disarmament conference. And another saw a need to raise awareness for LGBTQ issues and coordinated over 40 people to participate in days of silence and acceptance. My friends up here on the stage have started clubs, advocated for change in school policy, led sports teams, directed plays, written student publications, and so much more. But, like any home, we've also had our struggles here. Differences and struggles like the Latin translations, SAT prep, college knowledge courses, like the lack of video games in the lounge, or parking anywhere remotely near the campus. Struggles like painting the rock again, and painting the rock again, and again. And among those struggles are the differences we've had, which are not surprising. Even our country as a whole seems to be divided. You can tell that just by turning on the news and looking at the presidential race. And similarly, we have our own divisions here at Dwight as well, some even political. One of our more conservative students, Malcolm, wants to build a wall between Uncle B and the upper school, citing that all those middle schoolers are criminals and thugs. While some of our more conservative students would rather fight for inclusivity. So the same type of divide and disagreement that we see on the national level exists here at Dwight as well. The difference in our school, as opposed to the world at large, is that we've learned to deal with our differences. We understand that despite them, there's much common ground that unites us, and that our attention should be focused on that rather than our points of division. We know that it's okay to disagree, but we can do so without rancor and discord. And the reason we can do that is because thanks to our Dwight home, we've not only built our resumes, we've built our character. As Albert Einstein said, try not to become a person of success, but rather try to become a person of value. We've achieved this to a certain extent, and we're ready to confirm it in the next phases of our lives. We have value and we have character, and we are ready to leave our homes to take on the world. And for this, we need to take a break from congratulating ourselves and thank those who got us here. So first, thank you to the faculty, teachers, and staff for always giving us the learning environment we needed to grow as people. The future successes of this class have been built on the foundations you laid out for us. To our parents, congratulations. Your decision to send us here, the sacrifices you made to pay our tuition and get us to school every day, and your never-ending support up to this day have paid off. Especially my parents. I love you. If you need any more evidence of this, of your sacrifices paying off, after the senior dinner on Friday night, as I walked out of school, I decided that I didn't want to leave just yet. So I came into this tent, walked up to this podium, and looked out on all the empty seats, only to hear a familiar voice call out to me from the darkness. Out walked Bud, our security guard and a good friend of mine for the past 15 years. We spoke for a few minutes, and he offered me one last piece of advice, that we should never assume that everybody will want the best for us after we leave this school. To think that a man who has literally protected us for all these years would go out of his way to ensure our well-being in the future shows just how much he and everybody else at this school truly cares about us. So to all of you, the members of both our homes, Bud included, we're your students and your children, and you have made us what we are today. So I'll ask my classmates to all stand and give you a round of applause. We're good, guys. Thanks for that. I was really nervous they weren't going to stand, so I posted it in the Facebook group ahead of time, just in case nobody was listening, but that's what's up. Today our class splits up. We go from Dwight-Englewood's class of 2016 to some other school's class of 2020. But that doesn't mean that we have to forget about each other and the lessons we learned together. All it means is that each of us will carry the experiences we've had here into the next phases of our lives. I have no doubt that Lucy will continue to make stunning artwork in Ithaca. No doubt that Savannah will keep writing beautiful poetry in New Haven. And no doubt that Taylor will score another 100 goals in North Carolina. I'm equally certain that Leslie will keep moving audiences with her spoken word, and that Arnaud will keep being devilishly handsome. DP won't be able to stop ridiculously smiling Miami, and Jillian and Dar will keep being the life of the parties in California and Michigan. I could go on for hours, but the bottom line is this. I have no doubt that every single one of my classmates will accomplish their dreams. And class of 2016, that's the point. Today's not only a celebration of all the great things that have happened here in the past 4 years, but also a celebration for what's going to happen after we leave. It's a celebration for the diseases we'll cure, the problems we'll solve, and the people we'll help. We're ready to do great things, and even with that twinge of sadness, we're ready to leave our home. So before we do so, let me take a moment to say thank you to the only people I get to thank. The people to my left and to my right. I feel truly grateful to have spent these past 4 years with you. Each one of you means the world to me. When I say the world, I mean it. I've never been to another school or been with a different class, but frankly, I've never wanted to. The way we've lived and learned and loved together has been something I'll always cherish. I'll miss seeing you guys every day, not only the educational conversations and the learning, but also the stupid things, like watching Netflix in the lounge or scootering down the hallway. In the beginning of the year, in our opening assembly, I referenced a poem shared with me by Mr. McGrail called The Station by Robert Hastings. And I think it's still applicable now, even at the end of the year. In it, Hastings writes about how we neglect to appreciate the journey because we always think happiness is waiting for us at the end of it, at what he calls the station. He says, sooner or later, we realize there is no station, no one place to arrive. The true joy of life is the trip. The station is only a dream. It constantly outdistances us. Life must be lived as we go along. The station will come soon enough. Now, even though some may say that we finally reached a station here today, thanks to all of you, I've realized that the true joy of life is indeed the trip. So thank you all for this trip. It's truly been wonderful.